It's the freshest radio show in town. Feeling marvelous, I've been with Jerry Rouse. It's the freshest radio show in town. Feeling marvelous, I've been with Jerry Rouse. WCPT. WCPT.
This the coldest sports show. You were getting the hour from 6 p.m. to 7. Chillin' with Lauren Cox and the man Marvelous. Shout out to Mr. Rouse and the Italian style. You what sports is the only politic.
WCPT. WCPT. It's the freshest radio show in town. Feeling marvelous, I've been with Jerry Rouse. It's the freshest radio show in town.
Let's go, Chicago.
Feeling marvelous, I've been with Jerry Rouse.
I'm feeling marvelous.
Me too.
Let's go, Chicago. Let's go. It is, ladies and gentlemen, it is. We call it around these parts. I'm telling you. We call it around these parts. It is the fastest hour in sports talk radio. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another edition of the Rewind Sports 60 on WCPT 820 AM in the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful city of Chicago, in the outstanding neighborhood on the north side of the city of Chicago, Jefferson Park. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another edition of the Rewind Sports 60. And let's get right to our esteemed panel, ladies and gentlemen. You love him. He's not over at the friendly confines sitting with J.B. Pritzker and Tom Ricketts and all the brass over there at Wrigley Field, honoring the ballpark that they've renovated and turned into a mini Disney World. No, he's not over there. He's not at U.S. Cellular Field.
Guaranteed rate.
Oh, guaranteed rate. Home of your 2021 World Series champion Chicago White Sox. That's just coming from me. Ladies and gentlemen, he is not over at Wintrust Arena checking out the DePaul Blue Demons. Ladies and gentlemen, he's in the studios at WCPT 820 AM. You love him. He's known as the Marvelous One. He's Dan Marvel. What's up, Marvel?
Hey, Jerry. I'm worried about your White Sox. You know, they're going to have to play Tampa or Houston eventually in the Yankees in the playoffs. And they didn't look too good today, losing 9-0. But, oh, well, we'll see what happens. And the Cubbies, lost 3 in a row to the Royals at home. The all-time record losing streak at home. Woo!
Was it 13? 13? Yeah. Wow. How about them Cubbies?
Yeah, and the Chicago Bears, a Trump in return for Mitch Trubisky. No pressure on him. He doesn't have to start. He didn't have to prove anything. It was a perfect scenario for him at Soldier Field yesterday.
Yeah. Boy, we got a lot untapped to talk about to unravel of this 60 minutes of sports talk radio, the fastest hour in sports talk radio. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, of course, the Marvelous One, Dan Marver. Hello to our esteemed executive producer, Devin Tingle. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to hear from him, our man. Yes, indeed. You haven't heard from him since last football season. Bruce Herron. Former linebacker for your Chicago Bears, will be joining us to break down or talk about the Bears' disappointing loss. We're going to talk about it as well. I want you to be a part of it, but a disappointing loss over at Soldier Field to the Buffalo Bills.
They won the second half, 9-7.
You know what, Marvelous? That's a positive thing, a positive approach to it. That's one way of looking at it.
And Fields didn't get a concussion,
No, he didn't. Wow, we're going to get a chance to break down or talk about. I'm glad you brought up Justin Fields, and I'm glad you brought up that guy. And we don't normally talk about him and mention his name on the show since he's no longer a product of the beloved Chicago Bears. And I've even been forbidden to talk about him or mention his name in my own home. My wife gave me the stink eye yesterday. We're watching the game. I'm like, look at Trubisky, look at him. He's just connected with his. And she said, I don't want to hear that name again. How dare you? I go, hey, I'm sorry, honey. Hey, wait, relax, take it easy. I'm just talking about the game. But yeah, I mean, what a difference a season make?
Yeah, well, it helps when you have no pressure to be number one and you do have some talent on the offense.
Yeah, I mean, Mitchell Trubisky came to town. He had a point to prove, and he wanted to show the Bears that he is still somewhat of a capable quarterback that can play on the highest level, the National Football League. And it was a great game plan put in place for him, and he did a pretty good job, considering it's the second preseason game and, coming back to Chicago. But Justin Fields, we're going to get right into it. Bruce Herron is going to be joining us in about 10 minutes or 10, 15 minutes or so, so sit by your radios. Feel free to give us a call. Our number is 773-763-9278, 773-763-WCPT. You want to talk to Bruce, you want to talk Chicago Bears, you want to talk anything in the world of sports here in Chicago or nationally, we're right here for you. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, and, of course, the marvelous one, Dan Marver. It's interesting because, I've never really taken in the preseason games, because that's exactly what it is. It's a preseason. It's an exhibition. It's for guys to try to earn a position on the team. They pretty much have, know who those players are going to be, on the starting offense, the starting defense, the special teams. But there are other kids who are guys out there trying to make the team. And so that's what the exhibition games is designed for those guys on the bubble, so to speak, or, one leg hanging out the door, the other hanging on a banana peel or whatever the case may be. It's for them to showcase their skill set, their abilities, and evaluate and see if they can make the club. And that's good. So I don't really put too much stock in preseason games, but it's still fun to watch, and it's exciting to watch now that they've removed one game. Obviously, it used to be 4 games. Now it's down to 3. The third game typically was the game where most of the starters would get an opportunity to play at least the first half of, and of course the starting quarterback get the first half of action before those other guys get an opportunity to come in the second half. Now it is down to 3. Yeah. The starters need a little bit more work, and Andy Dalton, they brought him in here, and they said, Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace said he is the starting quarterback of your Chicago Bears week 1. And I get that, and I certainly understand that. The guy comes in with a 10-year experience resume, albeit he's not, he's not the guy that's going to take you to the promised land, but he has experience.
Yeah, well, there's one other difference. There's a week off between week 3 of the preseason and week 1 of the regular season. That's new. Plus the 17th game is also new. So
right.
That was the trade-off, 3 preseason and then 17 regular season.
Right.
And then they still have a bye, actually, just before Labor Day weekend.
Yeah. So here's the deal. And everyone, this kid, Justin Fields, out of the Ohio State University. Congratulations again to Chicago Bears, Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace for selecting this kid, the first-round draft pick, a number 11th overall, the first African-American quarterback to be drafted in the first round by the Chicago Bears. But this kid, I didn't get a chance to watch him against the Miami Dolphins. And initially he kind of struggled when he got in there, but obviously he lit up the lamp post, and he got rave reviews, great reviews all across the nation, all across the country. I had a chance to sit down and watch this guy play yesterday, and I watched him play for the greatest college football team to ever lace him up, the Ohio State Buckeyes. I knew what this kid was capable of doing. I saw what he did against Clemson. I saw what he did against Alabama. I knew the potential of what this kid brought to the table. I saw this kid yesterday playing for the Chicago Bears, sporting the number 1. This kid, ladies and gentlemen, this kid, and Andy Dalton said it, hey, it's my time now, but this kid, he's got the next 10, 15 years in the National Football League. The only thing that's separating this kid or stopping this kid at this level is experience. That's the only thing that's stopping this kid is experience. He knows what to do. He knows when to do it. He knows how to do it. It's just a matter of experience. And I'm listening to this guy in his post-game comments compared to what we listened to last year. Now, this is kind of like what we listened to last year, right? Mitchell Trubisky, his post-game comments after the 41-15 drubbing of the Chicago Bears at the hands of the Buffalo Bills. Here's Mitchell Trubisky. Just a little bit clips of what he said post-game comments.
It's been awesome. It's been awesome. Just learning from Coach Dable and executing his offense, going out there. I feel like every time he calls a play, it's going to go out there and work. And you got to give a lot of credit to those other 10 guys on the field out there with me. Everyone's out there doing their job. Everybody on the same page. We're breaking the huddle, giving me tons of time to operate and see the defense. And then after that, it's just the O-line doing a great job protecting in the run game and the pass game, and then receivers and playmakers and running backs just making plays on the outside. So I just feel comfortable and just continue to grow and learn in this offense, and it's been a lot of fun working with Coach Dable. I got a lot of trust and faith in him, and he's calling it really well.
So let me tell you something. Did that sound any different from what he said last year about Matt Nagy and the Bears offense?
Oh yeah, he actually.
Did?
I mean, he sounded calmer. He sounded more assured in a way. I mean, it sounded like he was forcing it with the Bears. Honestly, that sounded more natural to me.
All right, listen to this one.
Like anything, it's just life. There's a lot of ups and downs, and you learn a lot along the way. But I'm grateful for my journey and where I'm at now, and I'm just going to continue to learn and grow. But I definitely enjoyed my time, and I'm very happy where I'm at right now and where this journey is going to lead me.
Yeah. Cliches. And he just changed addresses. He changed parts of the region as far as the country where he lives and resides. That's all he changed, uniforms. But his cliches, they continue to, it's the same thing. Now listen to this kid, Justin Fields. Justin Fields, he's the rookie. This guy's the rookie. He's your future. Let's just listen to his comments.
Justin, what was the breakdown on the big hit that you took?
What was the breakdown on it? Double stick slants. We had a 5-man protection. I tried to give Riley Ridley a double move on the backside because I wanted to take a shot at the end zone. And then, they brought that linebacker off the front side. So that's just a learning lesson for me, of course, to have our protection air over, the routes and stuff like that, just to make sure, I'm protected because of course, if I'm not, then, there won't be a pass just like there wasn't. But, I just tried to audible the route on the backside, and I just want to get that double move up, and, he came off the front side and, got a pretty solid hit on me.
Did you hear that?
A lot of technical jargon, yeah.
I mean, jargon. The guy broke it down. Listen to Mitchell Trubisky again.
Like anything, it's just life. There's a lot of ups and downs, and you learn a lot along the way. But I'm grateful for my journey and where I'm at now, and I'm just going to continue to learn and grow. But I definitely enjoyed my time, and I'm very happy where I'm at right now and where this journey is going to lead me.
Listen, let me tell you something. That's the difference. And Mitchell Trubisky had a winning record with the Chicago Bears, right? Matt Nagy has a winning record with the Chicago Bears. That's the mentality that we had to deal with the past 3-4 years with Mitchell Trubisky as the head quarterback. Listen to this guy. Listen to this guy, Justin Fields. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you. I'm Chicago's biggest sports fan, all right? I am Chicago's biggest sports fan. Listen to this guy, Justin Fields, right? This guy, hey, I love this guy. Listen to how he responds to the media.
I feel like I'm in a good place right now mentally. I feel good about my progression every day, and how I'm practicing and getting in the film room and learning the playbook. So now it's just getting reps and reps and reps, and just keep getting those reps, keep building that repertoire of plays, and plays like that, plays like on the field today where I got kind of hit out there. You just learn from those plays, and go back to the film room and get better.
Listen to that. Did you hear what he said? Reps and reps and reps and reps. You get hit, you go back to the film room, you learn more, and you get better. That's what you want in your leader. The guy's a rookie. He's a rookie. And he's already speaking, in marvelous terms, jargon that we can identify and relate to. None of this nonsense right here.
Like anything, it's just life. There's a lot of ups and downs, and you learn a lot along the way. But I'm grateful for my journey and where I'm at now, and I'm just continue to learn and grow. But I definitely enjoyed my time, and I'm very happy where I'm at right now and where this journey is going to lead me.
Nobody wants to hear any of that nonsense. We're trying to win, buddy. That's all we want. That's why his ass is out of town, and this is why we have a leader. Now listen to what he had to say to listen, I love this guy, Justin Fields. This guy's the future. Take a listen.
There's a lot of conversation about the comments you made about the game being slow. It's your second preseason game.
Yeah, and let me tighten that up because that came out totally wrong. Y'all just well, not y'all, but apparently the narrative was that I'm just that good that the game was too slow. But what I meant to say was I go up against our first team defense a lot throughout the week. So me going against them and, playing these preseason games when starters aren't in, that's going to slow the game down for me. So, again, I just wanted to clear that up because I don't want to come off as cocky or acting like I already made it because I know I have a lot of work to do and get better at. But, the game's not, fast out there. Of course it's going to be football, but I go up against one of the best defenses in the NFL, weekly. So that's definitely going to help me when I'm going against, the twos and threes out there for different teams.
In marvelous terms, in marvelous words, the jargon. Do you hear what the rookie quarterback for your Chicago Bears out of the Ohio State University, how he addressed the media? Listen, real quick, listen to how he handled the media.
There's a lot of conversation about the comments you made about the game being slow. It's your second preseason game.
Yeah, and let me tighten that up because that came up.
Let me tighten that up. He didn't say this.
Like anything, it's just life. There's a lot of ups and downs, and you learn a lot along the way, but I'm grateful for my journey and where I'm at now, and I'm just going to continue to learn and grow. But I definitely enjoyed my time, and I'm very happy where I'm at right now and where this journey is going to lead me.
No, this is what he said.
There's a lot of conversation about the comments you made about the game being slow. It's your second preseason game.
Yeah, and let me tighten that up because that came out totally wrong. Y'all just act.
Let me tighten that up because that came out wrong. The guy's on, he's on point. He's on point. The only thing, Marvelous, the only thing that's holding this kid back from greatness is experience. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah. Well, Trubisky was actually repeating what he told the psychiatrist. It sounded like. So, that's the difference. It was more psychiatric talk, whereas there was definitely with Fields it was football talk.
Now, before we bring our football talk, before we bring Bruce Herron on, we missed this guy all season long. But before we bring him on, listen, this is if you guys forgot, I know we all have short memories and we want to move on, but Mitchell Trubisky was taken the second pick overall in 2017 by the Chicago Bears and Ryan Pace. He was hoodwinked by the general manager, why did I say Ed Lynch? It's not Ed Lynch. Why can't I think of it?
What are we talking about?
The general manager for the San Francisco 49ers. John Lynch?
Yeah, it's definitely John.
He was hoodwinked. Ryan Pace, that was. Moving up one slot to get Mitchell Trubisky. One reason he was sold on getting Mitchell Trubisky was because his play at the Combine, the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. And, of course, the interview. This is part of the interview, what Mitchell Trubisky said to Ryan Pace to sell him on moving up one spot to become the Bears' #1 draft pick.
Like anything, it's just life. There's a lot of ups and downs, and you learn a lot along the way, but I'm grateful for my journey and where I'm at now, and I'm just going to continue to learn and grow. But I definitely enjoyed my time, and I'm very happy where I'm at right now and where this journey is going to lead me.
So listen, you heard what he just said there. He said a bunch of nothing. But that bunch of nothing was so convincing for Ryan Pace that he said, you know what? That's my guy. Yeah. I know he only played 13 games as a senior starter for North Carolina. I get that. Yeah. But the way that he communicated with me at the Combine in Indianapolis, you know what? This is the guy that we want for the future of our franchise. We want him as our quarterback. He didn't want a guy like this.
Justin, what was the breakdown on the big hit that you took?
What was the breakdown on it? Double stick slants. We had a 5-man protection. I tried to give Riley Ridley a double move on the backside because I wanted to take a shot at the end zone. And then, they brought that linebacker off the front side. So that's just a learning lesson for me, of course, to have our protection air over, the routes and stuff like that, just to make sure, I'm protected because of course, if I'm not, then, there won't be a pass just like there wasn't. But, I just tried to audible the route on the backside, and I just want to get that double move up, and, he came up the front side and, got a pretty solid hit on me.
So thank God, they finally came to their senses and they picked a quarterback that can turn this franchise around. Now, the important question, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Rewind Sports 60 WCPT 820 AM in the beautiful city of Chicago, in the outstanding neighborhood of Jefferson Park, the important question you need to ask yourself and you need to be concerned with is how head coach Matt Nagy and general manager Ryan Pace is going to manage Justin Fields. And the way we saw this game yesterday, it's an exhibition game. It's a preseason game. But the Bears got their asses handed to them 41-15. And people say, well, yeah, and I get it. You're evaluating talent. You're trying to get your team prepared for the regular season. But wasn't the Buffalo Bills in the same exhibition game trying to evaluate their players and stuff? What was the difference between what they were trying to establish and what, for some reason, we didn't establish? I don't understand that. I mean, help me out, Marvelous. It's an exhibition game. It's a preseason game.
Each team has different things they're trying to do in an exhibition game. And by the way, John Lynch is from Hinsdale, Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still the general manager currently at San Francisco. That's the fellow we're referring to. But in any event, obviously, Buffalo, pretty much, they're a playoff team, and they're going to be again. They didn't play their starter at all, So it's a whole different set of circumstances as to what Buffalo's trying to do. I mean, there were people trying to make the team. None of their regulars played at all, much like the Bears. But the Bears' starting quarterback played, and San Francisco's didn't. So Buffalo's didn't. So that's one big difference.
Yeah, but the point is, the Buffalo Bills were able to execute. I don't care how many passes that Mitchell Trubisky dinked and dunked down the field. He dinked and dunked down the field, but he was able to capitalize on the drives. Yeah. He was able to get the ball downfield. Right. Mitchell Trubisky, 20 of 28 for 221 yards, 1 touchdown. Right. I think he had a 111th but there was QB rating.
I know, but who was he playing against? Not Akeem Hicks.
Okay.
Right?
But wait a minute. The evaluation comes on the coaching staff. They lost on the offensive side of the ball. They lost on the defensive side of the ball. They lost on special teams. Did you see that kid? Oh, my God. A 73-yard punt. Was it punt return? Yeah. Unbelievable.
Missed tackles all over the place.
Unbelievable. So, what I don't want to hear, once again, we welcome Bruce Herron to the Rewind Sports 60, our Chicago Bears expert on our TR60 hotline. What I don't want to hear again this season is all this BS mumbo-jumbo crisscross talking from Matt Nagy trying to explain to us why he made some stupid-ass, dumbass calls and stupid-ass, dumbass moves. I don't want to hear it again. I don't. Bruce Herron, welcome to the Rewind Sports 60, brother. How you doing?
Jerry, it's a pleasure hearing your voice again, my friend.
Oh, we love you. We missed you, man, and we're ready for another exciting year of Chicago Bears football, brother. How's things been going for you?
Things are going fine, man. Today I had a granddaughter that's 9.5 months old. She was christened today.
Wow.
And so I'm at my daughter and her husband's house, and family's out back having a couple of cocktails, and we had some barbecue earlier, and so we're just having a good time.
Congratulations to you, Bruce Herron, and it's wow, it's just exciting for you to share that great news with us and the TR60 family, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you much. Thanks for having me.
Wow. Hey, man, it's always a pleasure, and we just wanted to pick your brain regarding the Chicago Bears and their disappointing. I don't know if you call it disappointing, Bruce. You played and laced them up for the beloved back during the day with the great late Walter Payton. And you've watched teams over the years, good and bad, playing over on the lakefront and representing the city of Chicago as far as the Bears are concerned. From what you saw in yesterday's game, the 41-15 beatdown at the hands of the Buffalo Bills, what did you take away from that game, knowing that it's just a preseason exhibition game?
Well, I was really disappointed in the Bears' play yesterday, and I'm sure the coaching staff was as well. But they looked like they were not prepared to play an NFL game, and defensively, there were so many missed tackles and so many missed opportunities to make a tackle and make big plays. I was pretty much dumbfounded. I threw up my hands and I said, you know what? This is not even. They were not even prepared for a game, let alone an NFL game. They just were not prepared, and I was really shocked and disappointed, much like most fans of Chicago Bears.
Yeah, and with Matt Nagy in this post-game press conference, he talked to the media and said, you know what, we don't pay that much attention to the score. The score is important, but we don't pay that much attention to the score because we're trying to evaluate the talent that's on the field to see what guys need to improve at, where to see what guys need to work on. But from what you just described, go ahead.
Let me say this, is that maybe, I understand what he's saying, but what he's saying doesn't match what was going on the field. Because if he's not concerned about the score, well, the score reflects the beatdown that your team took and all the mistakes that were made. Missed tackle. I'm telling you, missed tackle after missed tackle, missed opportunity on big plays time and time again. It was just downright ugly. It really was ugly. And you know what? I love my Chicago Bears. I mean, I love my Chicago Bears, man. I'm a Bear inside and out. But you know what? That kind of play by a defense, it's just pitiful. And I'm a defensive guy. Mm-hmm. And the offense didn't do any better than the defense did. But as a former defensive linebacker for the Chicago Bears, that was just ugly, man. It's just ugly. Missed tackle after missed tackle. I mean, guys didn't want to be. It looked like they didn't want to be there. It really did.
Wow.
So,
wow. We're on with the great Bruce Herron, former outside linebacker for your Chicago Bears. Talking Bears, 41-15 drubbing at the hands of the Buffalo Bills. Real quick, Bruce, and we appreciate you coming on and looking forward to spending a lot of time this season breaking down Bears action on the Rewind Sports 60. The first drive of Mitchell Trubisky and the Buffalo Bills, 10 plays, 72 yards, 4 minutes and 3 seconds, Bills up 7-0. The next possession, 11 plays, 64 yards, 4 minutes and 26 seconds. Jake Kumaro pass from Mitchell Trubisky for 4 yards. TD. Their third touchdown, Reggie Gilliam, 1 yard rush, 8 plays, 53 yards, 4 minutes and 17 seconds. Their next possession, Reggie Gilliam, 1 yard rush, 4 plays, 34 yards, 1 minute 27 seconds. The Buffalo Bills beating the Bears down 28-0. You said it. The defense of the Chicago Bears, who our kid Justin Fields said one of the top defenses in the National Football League, expected to be or projected to be, the Buffalo Bills just ran all over them. Regardless of who was out on the football field, it was an embarrassment.
Amen.
Yeah. You know what? I agree with you. Here's my take on it: is that the Bears, for the most part, had their backups in the game. Well, you know what? God forbid something happens to one of our starters and any of those guys have to play. So is this what we got to look forward to? It's not going to help. I mean, it's mind-boggling to me. I mean, you play your backups. The backups are an integral part of the team. They play on special teams. They replace starters when they go down. And so any of those guys come in and play, with what we saw yesterday, dude, I mean, it's going to be an ugly-ass season. And, but you know what? On the other hand, we look at Mitchell Trubisky, and you know what? I remember Mitchell's rookie year. Mitchell had a great rookie year. There was no pressure on Mitch. He was out there. He was doing this. I think Mitchell was at his rookie year that he went to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, but he didn't. It's not like he earned it.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't earn it.
Went to the Pro Bowl, but okay.
He backed into it. This is Dan here because somebody else didn't wish to participate, I believe.
Yeah, right. He was like called up when somebody else.
Right.
Right.
But here's the deal that people, and I was impressed with Mitch yesterday, but then I had to knock on my head and say, "Wake up, Bruce, wake up!" because if Mitch is called on by the Buffalo Bills to come in and lead the team to victory when the pressure's on, Mitch will melt. Guaranteed, he will melt.
Yeah.
Because when there's no pressure, Mitch looks like $1 million. Looks like $1 million. Mitch is a 4 or 5 year veteran in the NFL, and he was playing against 17 guys. Mitch looked like $1 million. But put Mitch in a regular season when all the chips are in play,
right,
and they need him. Man, Mitch be Mitch, just like we're accustomed to seeing. So that didn't impress me at all.
Yeah, I mean it did. I mean, when you look at the numbers, and that's the smoke and mirrors that some supporters of him here in Chicago say, well, look at his numbers, look at his stats, and it's like, wait a minute. If you watch the game plan of the Buffalo Bills and Sean McDermott, how they handled Mitchell Trubisky, it was a lot of dink and dunks. 5 yards here, 8 yards here, 4 yards here. I think he went downfield maybe once or twice. He went mid-range maybe 15, 20 yards a couple times, but most of the completions that Mitchell Trubisky had were dink and dunks. And as you stated, Bruce, it was poor tackling by the Bears defense. They couldn't bring anybody down. And one thing that I don't know if it's a custom, and help me out here, but I don't know if this is something that's trending in the National Football League where guys aren't wrapping up the ball carrier, whether it's the running back or the receiver. They're trying to lay a shoulder in them and knock them down. And these guys have balance, and they get hit shoulder high. They get knocked over, but they maintain their balance, and they're capable of getting 3, 4, 5, 7 more yards. That's a problem. The Bears exemplified that. They showcased that in that Buffalo Bills loss. Again, the results 41-15. But is this a standard of tackling that we see in this era of football today, Bruce?
Well, one of the problems, Jerry, is that the uniforms they wear today, rather than what they wore a few years ago, was that the jerseys are really tight-fitting jerseys. They are made out of fabric that's damn near skin tight, and you can't grab a jersey and bring them down. If you don't make the tackle by running through them, then the chances of you making a tackle is slim to none. I mean, you got to square the ball player up, the offensive player up, and you got to drive through him and get him on the ground. Other than that, if you're not grabbing a leg or a jersey, which is impossible to do because of the type of fabric the jerseys are made out of today, you're not going to make a tackle. You're not going to make a tackle. So that's part of the problem. But the other part of the problem is that, you know what? You got to have guys that want to make a tackle. There were so many times I saw guys reaching and sidestepping. Didn't want to make a hit. You've got to make a hit. You have got to make a hit on the receiver, or you got to make a hit on a running back, or you've got to make a hit on the tight end or the quarterback. I mean, you've got to run through guys, and they were not doing that. So that's something that they've got to clean up. It's something that they can clean up. This is not. I don't think it's an impossible task in the last week of the preseason to get that cleaned up, especially with the players that's going to be on the squad come the first regular season game. I think it's that the say and his coaching staff is going to look at, and they're going to address it and get it cleaned up before the first regular season game.
Hey, Bruce, this is Dan here. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, good. Maybe it was too warm. That's why they couldn't tackle. It was like, almost 90 degrees. So it might have been too warm for them to tackle. Yeah, I did check. Yeah, it was true. Goff, the LA Rams quarterback, was a week away from being in the Super Bowl. So that's how Trubisky got in the Pro Bowl, because Goff couldn't play in it because his team was going to be in the Super Bowl the next week. So it wasn't really earned. I thought my memory was correct about that.
Oh, dude. You know what? I knew it was something. But, Trubisky, he had a great game. I mean, great. You look at his numbers. His numbers are great. But you know what? Truth of the matter is, when you look at the big picture, he was just Mitch, man. It is just Mitch. Trying to impress folks with playing against rookies and free agents that are trying to make the squad. Guys were playing out of position. They were making mistakes on defensive plays, and it's understandable because rookies, guys who are their first year in the league, they're still trying to consume that thick-ass defensive playbook. And, and Mitch got 4 or 5 years on him. So, he was kind of picking them apart. But you know what? When Mitch has to go against, like I said, when he has to go against guys who are veterans that know him and know how to play the game, dude, he's going to be the same old Mitch that we've all seen for the last few years.
And you're right. His legacy will always be that he was picked ahead of Mahomes and Watson, no matter what.
Right. That doesn't impress me.
Yeah, so, hey, Bruce Herron joining us on our TRS60 hotline, former outside Bear linebacker on the Rewind Sports 60. So, the breakdown and the future as far as this team is concerned regarding the two quarterbacks. Andy Dalton was 11 of 17 for 146 yards. He simply struggled. His first play from the line of scrimmage, he threw a pass that was deflected. He had 1 touchdown and 1 interception on the 41-15 loss. Justin Field took over the second half, 9 of 19, 80 yards, no touchdowns, no INT. He rushed for 46 yards. From your evaluation, your experience playing at the highest level, from what you were able to see with Andy Dalton, who has been tabbed as the starting quarterback for the 2021 season, and from what you saw with this kid, and I do take a little pride in saying because he played at The Ohio State University, but I don't honestly, I don't care if this kid played at Notre Dame. I don't care if the kid played at the school up north that we hate. I don't care if he played at Bama. I don't care if he played at Clemson. I don't care if this guy played at USC, UCLA, Tennessee, Texas. I don't care where he played. This guy's knowledge of the sport, of the game, is off the charts. His calm, cool demeanor, his discipline is second to none. His speed is awesome. So I don't care what program he's come from, but your evaluation on watching this kid and how you would handle him based on all the information that you have compiled, where would he rank as far as the opportunity to get on the field, play, and start for the Chicago Bears?
Well, you know what? I kind of think this is my mindset. I kind of think that the way that Nagy and his staff are handling Fields is probably the right way versus what they, and this is all knowledge based on how they handled Trubisky, because truly Trubisky should not have been in the starting lineup as early as he was put in the starting lineup because he was the number 1 pick. With Fields' knowledge of the game is far superior to what Trubisky was able to bring to the team his rookie year, because he's been in the war. He's been in the thick of very competitive football, and this guy is head and shoulders better prepared to take on the struggles of being an NFL quarterback than Mitch was. And so they decided that what they're going to do is bring him along slowly, which is something that I don't have a problem with. I really don't have a problem with that. Bring him along slowly, and you know what? Slowly with him is letting him stand on the sidelines for maybe 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 regular season games, and then introducing him to the team as a starter. Because once this kid is in there, you don't ever want to say or have any second guessing of your move to say, well, maybe we put it in a little too early. Let him, and I don't have a problem with that. If they truly have a plan in place, and it sounds like they do, let's see how this all plays out. Because the last thing you want to do is take a franchise quarterback like Justin Fields and insert him into the lineup too soon. You want to make sure that he is actually ready. And whenever that is, whether it's 2 games into the season, 3, 4, or 5, and I'm sure it's not going to go past 4 or 5 games before we see him in the lineup and starting from here on out.
No, I agree with you, and I just want to use the analogy, the way that I see the Bears handling this kid, and I understand, I certainly get it, but it seems like at times, just like when you talk about the tackling, when you were talking about the poor tackling on the Chicago Bears, what popped into my mind is the coaching staff, and are they being conservative? Because Matt Nagy has a history of not playing his starters because he was afraid that they were going to get hurt and wouldn't be healthy for the regular season. The Bears appeared to me to be playing conservative just to go through the motions. Like you said, they didn't appear to be motivated. It seems like they play conservatively because they want to just get through the preseason in anticipation of the regular season. And I use the analogy. I love Mercedes. I'm on my third Mercedes, right? When I first got my Mercedes,
like I'm at the White Sox.
Yeah, well, yeah. But when I first got my Mercedes, Bruce, honestly, I was like, because it was my childhood dream car. I always wanted a Mercedes since I was like 10 years old. So when I finally got my first Mercedes, I was very tentative. I was very apprehensive. I was driving, and no offense to little old ladies, but I was driving like a little old lady down, the Kennedy Expressway, the Edens Expressway, because I was so, oh my God, I got myself a Mercedes, and I better watch this. I don't want that, because I didn't want to mess up anything. I didn't want to have an inadvertent accident and get my car scratched up or anything like that. And then, after maybe a few days, I go, Jerry, snap out of it. I go, what? Snap out of it. It's a car. Drive it. And I drove my car. I think the Bears need to take the same logic, the same philosophy, and let the kid play. They've got to let him play. Andy Dalton, I'm here to tell you, and you can help me out here. I'm here to tell you, just watching this preseason game against the Buffalo Bills, we know that Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, is not a mobile quarterback. I'm telling you, with that poor offensive line that the Bears have patched up and put out there, he's going to get his brains beat in. He's going to get his brains beat in. He'll be lucky if he can get through the first game. Are you kidding me? And we're going to be forced to see Justin Fields. I just think you let the kid go out, let the chip fall where they may. He said, I can take some bruises, and I'm okay. That's my philosophy. That's my thought. Am I crazy?
Well, you know what?
Not for that reason.
Not for that reason.
No, you're not crazy. You're not crazy, Jerry. Here's the deal. Whole deal in a nutshell. You know what? You are absolutely right. Now, if Andy Dalton goes out there and in the first game against the Rams, he gets hurt before the first quarter. I mean, before halftime.
Mm-hmm.
The first quarter, the very next quarter, Justin Fields. At that time, Justin Fields will be put in the game and let him go from there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if the Bears, my position and my thought process, this is what I'm hearing from the Bears, is that they would prefer to let Justin Fields sit and learn for a few games, and then put him in as a starter. But if something happens prior to their plan being cultivated throughout, then they would insert him and go with him at that point. But I know that if everything is like they would, if they could draw it up, they would rather sit him for 3 or 4 games and then bring him in and let him go from there. But who knows what's going to happen? This is the NFL, man. You never know what's going to happen from one place to the other.
You're right. Hey, Bruce, let me ask this question.
Sure.
That kid out of Clemson, Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
He playing with Urban Meyer, right?
Jacksonville.
Right. Do you think Urban Meyer is going to sit him on the bench and give him 3, 4, or 5 games to wait to see if he gets acclimated to the NFL? Or is Urban Meyer going to roll that kid out there and say, play some football? What do you think Urban Meyer is going to do with him down in Jacksonville?
No, he's going to roll him. He's going to roll him out. He's going to roll him out. Nobody's expecting Jacksonville to do a whole lot this year. I mean, they got the number 1 pick, and so you know what? If you're the number one pick, you've probably been called on to come in and be the franchise quarterback and be the franchise quarterback right away. And so they are probably going to start him from game one.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, guys, the other thing is they didn't sign a Dalton. That's the difference. They don't have anybody ahead of him anyway.
No, but the point of the matter is they're going to put this kid out there and say, hey, man, you're the future. You're our franchise. You get out there. You're in the National Football League. You're the first-round overall pick. Get your ass out there and play some football. And guess what Trevor Lawrence is going to do? He's going to go out there and play some football. His coach, Urban Meyer, is going to put him in the best position to try to, reduce or alleviate as much as he possibly can as far as the play calling is concerned. They're not being conservative with this kid because he is their franchise. They say, hey, we're putting all our eggs in your basket. Get out there and play. That's the whole point. I know they have Andy Dalton. That was a disappointment when we heard that they made the decision to bring him in. They rebounded by getting Justin Fields. But when you have a talent like this, you have a talent like this kid, and he's taken some big hits. We've seen him on national stage take some big-ass hits and rebound and lead his team to championship. We've seen Justin Fields. Let him get out there and play. And when you talk about the starters in Montgomery running the rock, A-Rod catching it on one wing, Mooney on the other wing. You got your tight ends in position. You know what, man? Let this kid get out there and play some football. If you believe in him, if you trust him, and he said, only thing I need are reps, 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 reps. And that's the only way you're going to get better at this game, at this level. He's got weapons around him. It's your play call on Matt Nagy that's going to make the decision. He needs to be out on the football field.
Yeah, I agree with you. He does. But, I like I said, I would rather them, if they had the option to bring him along a little slower than they do with Lawrence over in Jacksonville. I say, bring him along slow. And then 4 or 5 games into the season, hand him the football and say, hey, let's go. Design a plan of attack with him at the helm, and let's just roll with it. And if there's going to be some mistakes made, there are always some mistakes made, even with rookies. But even veterans, hell, they make mistakes as well. But you know what? If this kid is going to be your horse at the position of quarterback for the next 10 years, you know what? Get his butt in there and let him play through the ups and downs. Absolutely.
Again, we look back in 2017, the Bears signed the world-famous Glennon to a 3-year deal, and then went ahead and drafted Trubisky. And Glennon actually played a few games. And this was the post-Cutler era where they were, the first year without Cutler. So hopefully it won't be a repeat of that. And get Fields in there. I'm still predicting week 3 at Cleveland, where they go back to Ohio after they let Dalton play against his old team, Cincinnati. I think Dalton will get a couple weeks.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you, but this won't be a repeat of that. That's definitely not going to be a repeat of that, because one thing, Fields is a much more prepared quarterback to play in the NFL than Trubisky was when he first came in. So.
Hey, man, listen real quick. I want you to hear. I don't know if you had a chance to listen. This is how Mitchell Trubisky sounds. This is the quarterback that the Bears drafted to think he's going to lead us to the promised land. Listen to his jargon.
Like anything, it's just life. There's a lot of ups and downs, and you learn a lot along the way, but I'm grateful for my journey and where I'm at now, and I'm just going to continue to learn and grow. But I definitely enjoyed my time, and I'm very happy where I'm at right now and where this journey is going to lead me.
Yeah. Now listen to our future that they want to put on the sideline and watch with a clipboard.
Justin, what was the breakdown on the big hit that you took?
What was the breakdown on it? Double stick slants. We had a 5-man protection.
What?
To try to give Riley Ridley a double move on the backside, because I wanted to take a shot at the end zone, and then they brought that linebacker up the front side.
What?
So that's just a learning lesson for me, of course, to have our protection air over, the routes and stuff like that, just to make sure, I'm protected, because of course, if I'm not, then, there won't be a pass just like there wasn't. But, I just tried to audible the route on the backside, and I just want to get that double move up, and, he came out the front side and, got a pretty solid hit on me.
Hey, Bruce, which one sound like the... Hey, Bruce, which one sound like the rookie, and which one sound like the 4-year guy in the league? Which one? Help me out.
I know, man. The last one sounds like the 4-year guy in the league.
The guy is breaking down film, right? He's telling everybody what the hell was going on. The other guy...
He saw all of that while he was on the field. Before he was doing his film.
What are you waiting for? What are they waiting for? I don't understand it. What? Listen, man, I told you.
He's making directions. He's making directions like a coach would make.
Unbelievable. I'm telling you. I got my first Mercedes. I was so happy. I was so proud. They gave me the keys. I was in the dealership. I was like, yeah, I got my first Mercedes. I put the key in the ignition. I turned the key, and I drove off the lot. I was so nervous. I was getting, I'm driving my first Mercedes. Nobody get close to it. And then I said, Jerry, drive the car. It's a car. If something goes wrong, you can get a new one. Put that boy out there and let him play some football, man. Come on, Bruce, tell him.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know what? He'll be there. He'll be there, man. I think as fans, we want to see stuff right away. But you know what? To get to be successful, like we want the Chicago Bears to be, we just need to be a little patient. I think we'll get there.
No, man.
I think there's a plan in place.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get there.
Well, you make sense. You make sense, but Bear fans ain't waiting for that nonsense. They want to win now. Bruce.
No, man.
Hey, Bruce, the best quarterback the Bears have ever had is Sid Luckman. It's over. Turn out the lights. We don't want that anymore. Hey, Bruce Herron, you're the best, brother. We love you, and we miss you, and we're looking forward to spending Sundays with you, breaking down Chicago Bears football, brother.
You got it, man. You got it. Let's go get them, Bears.
We're going to get them, man. Thank you. And all the best to you and your lovely family, and have a fabulous week, and stay safe, my friend.
All right, thank you much.
Take care. Bruce Herron joining us on the TRS60 hotline. Former Chicago Bear outside linebacker, lacing them up with the great late Walter Payton back in the day.
Hey, quickly, I saw an article on Thursday in the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Yeah.
It says that they should trade for Nick Foles because he would be their best choice, because I guess they got Flacco now as their quarterback. So, so they maybe we can get something from Philly to help our team.
No, we don't. We need. Hey, listen, I understand, but again, I mentioned the programs, the top-notch blue chip programs here at a collegiate level, whether it's Alabama, even Notre Dame, whether it's a school up north, even though they suck. If it's,
I don't know. Their coach might say.
I mean, just listen. This guy can't. This guy is a product of the Ohio State University. The Ohio State University. He is prime and ready for the big stage. He played in front of over 100,000 fans on Saturday afternoon in the Horseshoe.
Not last year, but
but he's going to look around Soldier Field and go, man, there's only 65,000 fans in this place. What the hell's going on here? This guy is more prepared for the National Football League than I think Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace are.
I think C.J. Stroud is more prepared.
C.J. Stroud, congratulations to him for getting the nod to get the
successor to Fields.
Yeah, the starting quarterback for the Ohio State Buckeyes. They open up the season September 2nd against Minnesota.
Thursday night special,
Yeah, I mean, you know what? And I listen. I understand you got to be cautious. You got to be careful. But the kid he's taken some licks. And he's smart enough. He's learning NFL defenses already. He just broke it down and explained to everybody what the hell he was looking at. He's come on, man.
Yeah, you're right. It's starting to feel like football season. A little at night. The days are getting shorter.
Yeah, you got me pumped up.
The sun's in on that angle. I mean, there's going to be a game in Champaign Saturday, Nebraska, Illinois, for God's sakes.
Yeah, my family wants to go down to that thing. Hey, folks, it's the fastest hour in sports conversation. If you miss any portion of the broadcast, please check us out on the RewindSports60.com, the RewindSports60.com. Make sure you download the app and you get your Roku device. We're on the Roku channel, the Rewind Sports 60. if you miss any portion of the broadcast. Thanks to our esteemed producer, our executive producer, Devin Tingle! And, of course, the marvelous one, Dan Marver. Thanks to our guests, the fabulous, outstanding former outside linebacker for your Chicago Bears, Bruce Herron. Ladies and gentlemen, stay safe. And we want to say, hey, we hope that the Jackson family, Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr. and his lovely wife, Jacqueline, are doing okay. They come down with COVID, and they are in, I think, Northwestern Hospital. But let's hope that they beat this like he always does, and they're fine and healthy. But, hey, if you haven't gotten your shots, they've gotten their shots, and they still got COVID. If you haven't gotten yours, get your ass on over there and get a shot. Get one. I got one. It's the Rewind Sports 60. Marvelous. Take care.
Hey, you too.
You're the best.